Bible Study Guide, Day 74, Deuteronomy 11-13. In chapter 11, Moses encourages the Israelites to remember how God has been faithful to them in the past. He reminds them of all the miracles and wonders that God performed in order to bring them out of Egypt and into the Promised Land. Moses also reminds the Israelites of the importance of obeying and loving God. He reminds them of all the good things that will come if they follow His commandments and keep His covenant. Moses emphasizes that it is not just for their own benefit, but also for the future generations to come. Moses advises them to guard their hearts against the allure of their surroundings, which may tempt them to worship material goods. They must remain vigilant to avoid being swayed by the appeal of new, shiny things. Moses also instructs the Israelites to choose between blessing or cursing, symbolized by two mountains, Mount Gerizim for blessing and Mount Ebal for cursing. If they obey and love God, they will be blessed abundantly. But if they turn away from Him and worship other gods, then disaster and destruction will follow. As we reflect on this chapter, we can learn the importance of remembering God's faithfulness in our lives. We should always strive to obey and love Him, not just for our own benefit, but also for our families, communities, and future generations. We must also be alert to the temptations of our surroundings and constantly choose to follow God's commands. In chapter 12, Moses continues to warn against following the practices of other nations and worshiping their gods. He commands that the Israelites completely destroy all the places where these false gods were worshipped, and instead establish one central place of worship for God. Moses explains that this is to prevent the Israelites from being tempted to worship other gods or blend their practices with those of other nations. He wants them to have a pure and devoted relationship with God, without any distractions or influences from outside cultures. Moses also lays out guidelines for the proper way to offer sacrifices and offerings to God. They are to offer sacrifices only at the designated place of worship and are not to eat meat with blood in it. Now that they will be spread out over a larger territory, the Israelites are allowed to eat meat in their own towns, but they must pour the blood out on the ground. As Christians, we can also take these lessons to heart. We must be careful not to adopt practices or beliefs from other religions or cultures that go against God's word. We must stay rooted in our faith and have one central place in our hearts to worship God alone. In chapter 13, Moses warns the Israelites about false prophets and dreamers who may try to lead them away from God by performing miracles or giving prophecies. He reminds them that even if these signs come true, they must not follow after these deceptive individuals. Moses emphasizes the importance of staying faithful to God and not being swayed by anyone or anything. He commands that anyone who tries to entice others to worship other gods must be put to death, even if it is a family member or close friend. Moses also instructs the Israelites not to spare any city where people are found worshiping other gods. They must completely destroy everything and show no mercy in order to rid themselves of this evil influence. This chapter serves as a strong reminder for us to stay steadfast in our faith and not be easily led astray by false teachings or signs. We must be discerning and constantly seek the truth, even if it may go against popular beliefs or opinions. Just as the Israelites were instructed to completely remove any traces of idolatry, we too must eliminate anything that distracts us from wholeheartedly worshiping and following God. As we continue through Deuteronomy, let us remember the importance of obeying and loving God with all of our hearts. Let us guard ourselves against temptations and false teachings, staying rooted in our faith and having one central place of worship for God alone. May we also learn from the Israelites' mistakes and constantly choose to follow God's commands for our own benefit and the generations to come. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help us spread the word. God bless you.